Okay, so I'm going to do a full playthrough of the early development version on Tabletopia of Stars of Akarios. Um, they've really kindly released 4 scenarios with full story, narrative with them, with choices and all the rest of it, all space battles, for us to playtest. And I thought it'd be quite nice just to play through this kind of mini campaign, I suppose you can call it, of these 4 scenarios that we could play in the game. I'm going to be going through, I'll be narrating the story as we go, just so you get a flavour of what's out there at the moment. And it's really, really good. I mean, it is early days still to a point, but it just shows what the scope and a little bit of an insight into what this might look like when we do get it next year. Okay, so starting with the introduction to the story, and then straight into scenario 1, we'll be going into for this. Welcome to the Starlight Institute. War has taken a discouraging toll. When the Rathans attacked Medelia, it sparked the mobilization of the United Intergalactic Alliance. The military, led by Captain Soma, has since brought the Rathans to their knees. Some in the Alliance consider our actions against them to have been too severe, while others believe that they didn't go far enough. For Soma's part, she's reluctant to discuss anything beyond what's in her official report. What most members of the UIA agree on is that, beyond dealing with disorganized pockets of remaining Arathans, the need for a larger military force has passed. Efforts to monitor the Rathans' actions have not come much further than bickering amongst members of the Alliance, as no one wants to commit the resources to a job that they see as unnecessary. The planet Medelia has been centre stage in this conflict, and the Medelians have been key figures in the Alliance for a long time. A fragile Congress of the UIA meets now to discuss how necessary their military presence is going forward. Many among the Congress believe that time has come to disband the Allied military and focus on their own species' interests. The isolationists, Tokotcha, are chief among these, while even reliable members such as the Yurs, who helped found the Alliance, are beginning to rethink their role. Captain Soma has been a vital member of the Alliance and a senior military figure within the Starlight Institute. She preaches vigilance and remains convinced that the threat is not over. She finds her celebrity a source of embarrassment, despite its use as a tremendous recruitment tool for the Starlight Institute. The outcome of this most recent Congress has not been reported as you enter your first briefing. You are not a graduate yet. Depending on who you'd ask, some would suggest you're not ready for live fights. You know different. Soon you'll get your chance to prove it. Mission 1. Training Mission. The story. The briefing room is full of chatter and buzz among the various cliques present. It's an uncomfortable mix of experienced pilots and trainees, as well as a fragile blend of the different species of the UIA. Taking in the room as you see the Yurs are gathered in small groups around the room, but you also notice there are no Tokotcha present. While you scan the room, you recognise a friendly face, the Celestian, Sol. He returns your greeting, nodding back with his familiar grin as he heads over to talk to you. Welcome to the big time. Don't mess this up. I'd like to get the chance to see you looking just as awkward as uncomfortable at the next briefing. There are smiles all around, and the gentle ribbon from Sol. You're about to congratulate him on his promotion to ensign on the Sparrow when you're cut off. Captain Soma's entrance isn't dramatic or loud, but her presence is magnetic, and it brings an end to the chatter in the room. Well, most of it. A couple of oblivious new recruits cluelessly ramble on amongst themselves until... "Attention!" snaps Captain Soma in her stern Celestian accent. She has no patience for anything less than complete attention when she is speaking. For the younger pilots, who had only ever heard of her on news clips, the iron command in her voice now stops them in mid-sentence. I shouldn't have to remind you that when your CO is present, idle chatter ends. Perhaps some of you require more time in the training program. She looks pointedly at the recruits, who had failed to notice her arrival, and they sink down in their chairs out of embarrassment. Unfortunately, she says, returning her focus to the whole room, we don't have that luxury right now. We need to get you and your fighters training for the real thing. Not paying attention here and now could cost you out there. And not just you, it could cost the lives of others who are sitting around you in this room. She doesn't have to stare at the group near the front this time, as plenty of the other trainees look at them intensely instead. Each of them wondering if they can trust these cadets when they really need to. I expect conduct that is appropriate to a Starlight Institute graduate going forward. You all know what it means to be a Starlight Institute graduate, don't you? Yes, Commander, the room replies as one. The best of the best, Soma comments, as she turns to the board, the slightest hint of a smile visible at the corner of her mouth. Today we will introduce students near graduation to live flight tests. You will be doing the live simulations typical for established pilots. Assessment is based on the Institute's stringent performance rubric for flight skills, Soma says. As with all of your tests, we will be reviewing your technical knowledge in addition to your problem-solving abilities and strategic acumen. You will not have an instructor to aid you, Soma continues, her tone now a touch softer. You will have to work together to make decisions without the assistance of a superior officer. One of the recent graduates raises their hand. Will we be monitored from orbit or from here on the surface? They ask with a faint nervous edge in their voice. I will be joining with you in orbit with a small crew aboard the Sparrow. Junior officers will be monitoring from the surface. There is a collective intake of breath from around the room. To be monitored by a superior officer is one thing, but to be observed and assessed by Captain Soma herself is something else entirely. Now, if there are no further questions, you all have your flight times. First group, proceed to the loading hangar and select a ship of your training. Your flight group has just left the base and is headed towards a manned station that is to be a destination A for training, when some hostile units show themselves on the radar. A rattled voice is heard over the radio. Is this part of the simulation, or are those real enemy ships? Ameli's soul reaches out. Pilots, this is not a test. This is the real thing. We don't have time to scramble the fighters, so it's up to you. Captain Soma continues in her steady tone. Don't worry, you're not alone. Rendezvous with the Sparrow at these coordinates. Stay close and we can support you. Let's play it safe, cadets. Your mission, defeat the Ronin ships before they destroy the station. You have 6 rounds. There are some mission specifics. You have until the end of round 6 to destroy all Ronin ships. If you fail, read the mission failure. Captain Soma recommends ending your turn within 3 spaces of the Sparrow. If you do, enemy attacks are always disadvantaged against you. Starting equipment, 1 weapon upgrade, 1 engine upgrade, and a starting ship ability. And this is the setup for the scenario. So I'm going to head over to Tabletopia, to the board, have it all set up, and then we can get the ship set up and everything else. Okay, so we're here with Stars of Akarios on Tabletopia. We've loaded up scenario 1. I've chosen Dusty and the Gnosis as my ship. Now, you might say, the Gnosis in solo with only full hull. But I'll tell you why. It's because the addition to this ship ability, I think it's going to be so strong in the game, especially with solo being 5 dice. You're literally going to have that dice all the time. So I'm going to give it a go. You might think I'm a bit nuts, but we'll just see how we go. In terms of the board itself, we set it up for 1 player. So we have an elite and Ronin and a normal scout Ronin. I'm going to start here because I want to basically fire off my proton blast as soon as possible. It has radar jam, which means if I bring this up, I've got all of the the combat effects here. Target's disadvantaged on their attacks till next turn. To be honest, not massive in this particular scenario. In fact, I'm probably not going to need to worry because I'm planning on staying close to the Sparrow at all times anyway. So just remember with our scenario specific objectives, as long as I'm within 3 hexes of this Sparrow, which is here, then all enemy attacks get disadvantaged, even if they're behind me. So that's quite important. But the key, what I'm really going to be focusing on is that infusion. By getting target lock to give me advantage, by making them so they can't move, by using slow. Obviously, again, radar jam, we don't need to worry about for now in this particular scenario. And the classic barrel roll, I think, it's just so nice just to get that slight bit of movement that's very cheap on the dice. Okay, I've shuffled my modifier deck, something you have to do in the scenario. And I think we're ready to go. I've got the enemy boards here and here. I will be putting this onto the reflection sheet, onto the log, the review log. But there is no need for a 5 on this lower track. Because if you've got denominations of 5 on the top track, obviously you won't use that top slot. So it's pointless being there. So 0 to 4 will suffice, and you'll be able to hit any number, obviously, on that track. I understand why they're doing it for those really high hull and shield enemies, those kind of capital ships that you might be fighting. You'll need to track really high numbers, and you don't want a huge track to place a cube on. So I understand the denominations, kind of like chopping them up into 5s, but there's no need for a 5. That just doesn't make any sense. So that's just something I will put on the log. These do not have shield. They cannot be hull breached, which is what this symbol means here. So this is effectively the resistance that they will have. That's just for the elite. The elite has 8 hull, and the normal scout has 6. Over here we've got their modifier deck. Let's give that a shuffle, and their AI deck as well. So let's roll our dice first of all. So shift, oh hello, that skipped a beat. Shift and drag, press R, and that will roll your dice for you. Okay, it's a fair amount of stress, and unfortunately I needed one more stress to get a free reroll, which at the current rules is what happens. Now I can do the barrel roll to effectively get a free rotation with this effect. But to be honest, I've got the movement I need. I just need to move forward. If we have a little look, I just need to move forward 2 to chuck them both in range and keep me within 3 of the sparrow. Just a point to make: you have to do the movement to its entirety before you carry on. Now this is 4, so actually 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't actually need to move. I've just realised. So there is no point moving, because they are currently in range with this amazing attack. I love this attack. So with that in mind, I'm not going to re-roll. I'm just going to take 1 stress to use one of my stress dice. Or do I re-roll? Actually, I'm going to use the re-roll mechanic so you can see what that is. I'm going to keep that dice back, and I'm actually going to re-roll all 4 of these. So to do a re-roll, you have to spend 1 stress. So I think that might be better. Wow, even worse. Right, fair enough. That's just the nature of the beast. I'm going to do the strong attack. First of all, though, I'm going to put target lock onto this attack. Okay, so this infuses this attack. It uses one of these. We're going to be using one of these. I need to put my second stress on for using the dice. Oof, not ideal. Certainly not ideal. Okay. So what we can see here, we've got these 2 in target, in range, so we're all good with that. And if we now have a little look at this card here, we are ignoring this effect because, to be honest, they're going to be disadvantaged anyway, because I'm going to stay within 3 of the sparrow. 2 damage to 2 targets, okay, in this range, with advantage because I've now target locked them. Now the important thing with this is this target lock, if we just bring this back up again, just to show you. With target lock, those enemies, any player gets advantage against that enemy, regardless of what direction they attack from, and you do not remove it unless it becomes bolstered, which is really, really important. So let's come back to here. We're going to be looking at, let's do the elite first. Let's get the elite out of the way. So here's my modifier deck. I have the advantage. So I'm going to be drawing 2 cards and choosing the best one. So 2 base, -1, or +2. I hate Tabletopia for trying to put cards on. Oh, we're just going to leave it there. So that's 4 damage onto the elite. So let's knock this down to 4 health. This may need a 0 track on here, so maybe replacing the 5 with a 0 on the top track, just so you can place that on there rather than just dropping off the board. Especially if you've got dual, which I believe they are going to have dual layered boards. Nice, I'll take that attack. So now we're going to move over to this normal go. Now, what I should have noticed, which was really stupid of me to be honest. In fact, I'm going to change my mind because I'm technically in the back arc of both. Am I? Am I in the back arc of these 2 ships? No, I'm not. Am I? No, I'm not in the back arc. No, let's carry on. I thought I was in the back arc of both ships, but I'm not actually, because their back arcs go either side of me. So let's carry on. So we're doing the normal one with advantage. So it's 2 going down to 1, or just doing 2 damage. Let's take the 2 damage. So we're going to do 2 damage to this one, taking it down to 4 as well. So they both have 4 health left. Okay, so we're currently in this position. We're nice and close to the Sparrow, getting us disadvantaged. We're going to be attracting them. I feel that I don't need to use these dice at all. And I needed 1 more to reduce my stress, which may have been a play, but I don't have that. So that is my turnover. So we are on round 1 at the moment. So this is what we're going to use for the marker. Let's see what the enemy will be doing. I'm actually going to bring the card here next to the play. Okay, so it's going to be rotate, move forward 2, rotate, attack within 2 ahead and 2 across, with an additional no damage but 2 targets. In solo mode, that's not going to make a difference. So we'll start with the elite as always, rotate up to twice, move forward. It doesn't need to rotate because I am in the firing arc. It's going to hit me with disadvantage. So the Ronin elite attacks with 3 base. Let's see what he gets with disadvantage. So drawing 2, choosing the worst one. So that's a good start, but that's even better. So he misses. Okay, this symbol here means we need to shuffle the modifier deck as soon as that's drawn. So we'll put this one back, but he did miss us, which is real nice. Right, now moving over to the normal. Oh, thank you. Rotate forward and hit me. So they've got a 2 base damage. They are disadvantaged as well because of the proximity of the Sparrow, and it's going to be 2 damage coming my way. So, oops, I don't want to do that. So I've got shields. Shield's going to take the hit first, before I have to worry about taking in the damage onto my Proton Blast, my Barrel Roll, or my Infusion. Now I could have done a Barrel Roll in that last turn, but I just feel like I'm happy where I am, to be honest. They've now nicely set themselves up ready for my next shot. So that's round 1. Let's move to round 2. Remember, we have 6 rounds to complete our objective. So let's grab our dice back off. Now, just to point out, 1 more stress, and we move to our first milestone on our stress track, I suppose you can call it. Okay, again, a lot of movement. They are target locked, remember, because that stays on them. So that's kind of like a no-brainer. The next one will probably be the no movement. Stop them from moving. They will be able to rotate, but if I can get behind them, that would be the ultimate play. 4-2. You know what? I've got the advantage. I'm just gonna fire it off. I'm gonna remove the stress with my other dice. I feel that's my best play. So I'm going to use my 3 dice in here. I'm going to take my stress off. If I remove these dice, you'll see what I'm talking about. So you get -2 stress. You also heal up 3 points of hull damage, but I haven't taken any hull damage. And then these two are going to go straight onto my final shot with my Proton Blast, and let's see if we can take out the some ships, effectively. So, with target locked, they are both... I have the advantage on both of these. My Proton Blast does hit them, and it targets both of them for 2 damage base each. Let's start with the Elite. Let's see if we can take them out. So that's 2 damage, or only 2 damage. So that won't take out the Elite. It takes them down to 2. You could have argued I could have... Yeah. Maybe. I think taking the stress away was more important, but I could have re-rolled, got a miss in there, but then had a chance to use my normal attack to maybe just destroy everything. Right, the normal one, 2 base, 3, we need 4, it's going to be 3, so they both survived. That took 3 damage, it's got 1 left. So again, that could have stopped them from attacking next turn, which could have been quite handy. Okay, I believe that is me done. I'm happy just staying where I am. They were on there, by the way. Staying where I am. This is now spent. I have no more Proton Blast, so we're going to our normal attacks from now on. Okay, let's see what these Ronin Scouts are going to be doing next. Okay, so we've got the Ronin Scout up. Again, it's no extra damage. But they're going to try and hit me. So, forward and to the right 1. Forward and to the right 1. Rotate. No, he's not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to attack me. So he'll just sit there. In this particular scenario, they don't attack the actual sparrow. There's no health on the sparrow. 1 and to the left, he can't come, so he just stops here. And then he rotates, and then this scout will attack me for a 2 base with disadvantage. Let's see what they get. So it's a 3 or a 2. That's 2 damage over to me. That's my shields out. That's fine. I still don't need to exhaust, even though Proton Blast is now used. It's out of ammo, so that's a free rejection of hull point damage. I can just take the damage on my weapon. That's not a problem. Okay, cool. That's their go. Oops. So let's just move that one back. Move this on to round 3. And we'll go grab our dice and give them a roll. And you can quite clearly see now how fast this game is. It's nice and streamlined. You know, you've got enough actions to do in your turn. I'm not rolling in. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I can still get my full attack off, but only against 1 target. So I'm not going to be destroying 2 targets this turn. Now maybe I can do some cheeky shenanigans. What I'm thinking is target this Ronin. Let's get this one out of the way. Although the Elite's more dangerous. Maybe target the Ronin at this Ronin. Stop them from moving on my next attack and hit them. I think that's going to be my best play. So, we're going to be doing this movement. I think it's going to work. Do a... Now, you can't, unfortunately, they can still rotate, so it's a bit annoying in the sense that they can still rotate. It's really annoying, actually. I'm not going to lie. I'll take that back. I'm just going to rotate first, I think. I want to get rid of this Elite, but I don't want to... although they're always going to get disadvantage. So if I rotate once, I can move forward 2 and just skip behind them all and hope that this guy doesn't come and get me. Oh no, I don't want to go too far away. To be honest, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to rotate so I can hit, and I'm going to spend those 2 attack dice. And just in case, I'm going to be using my last action, my last ammo supply, you can say, on this one to do what's called slow, which if I bring it up, and where is it? Here it is. Slow. Target is unable to move the next turn, but may still attack and rotate. So it still can rotate, and still attack. So it's not actually going to make much of a difference, to be honest, at all. But let's see how we do. So this elite has 2 health left. So we're hoping we do have the advantage, still target locked. So we're hoping that we pull just a 0 or better from this attack. There we go. That's all we needed. We need to draw the other one for. Oh man, that's 3 damage against the elite Ronin. It only had 2 left, so that has been destroyed. Nice. So that's the danger ship. Let's maybe. Let me think. I want to give myself in a good position for next turn. So I think what I'm going to do is just do a barrel roll. And the only thing I'm going to do is just barrel roll to here. And that'll do. That's my turn. Let's see what the AI's got for us in store for this next turn, for the enemy turn. Okay, so this is rotate, move to the right in a diagonal formation, rotate, and then attack ahead for no extra damage. Okay, so obviously they're facing us. It will have to do its movement. So it's going to move to the right, like this. But then it will rotate like this to hit me. It can shoot through, by the way. It doesn't block line of sight. Just think of it as a 3D map. So target to me, obviously it's from my rear arc, which would normally give advantage, but because I'm within 3 of the Sparrow, they still get disadvantage. So the normal one does a 2 base damage. Oh, wrong deck. So it's either 2 damage or 1 damage. I will just take the damage. I'm not going to even use my exhaust my Proton Blast. You know what? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. 1 damage is fine. I can take 1 damage. What am I talking about? No, actually, I don't want to take the damage because in the real game, not in this particular campaign, but in the real game, you have to spend resources to repair your ship, I believe. So it kind of makes sense as these are both exhausted now. Just use them. I've also got the barrel roll I could exhaust as well, just to stop that whole damage. And I'm hoping that I can do 1 damage on the next turn. Hoping. It depends on my card draw. Okay. So that's their attack, and they are done. We now move on to round 4. Let's grab our dice and see if we can finish off this final Ronin Scout. The designers are still balancing for different player counts. Oh, that's a nice roll. So, you know, you could argue it's a bit easier on solo, but hang on. Yeah, that's right. So we just need to attack them, basically. So the only thing we need to do is we need to rotate, and then we need to get into the firing arc. So rotate to here. I might be able to get around back. Just as a little bit of a... It's going to cost me stress, but I can take 1 stress. I think I'm all right with that. So let's rotate first of all. So we're going to rotate to this way. Then we're going to spend the other one on this movement here, which is going to be forward and then across. Obviously, what was my plan? Oh, barrel roll, that was right. And then I'm going to show you this mechanic with stress. So I'm using a stress dice to do a barrel roll, but I can rotate first and then attack, or and then do the movement. Sorry, or I can do the movement and then rotate. I think it makes sense to rotate. I'm just going to get right behind him. So I'm going to rotate. Actually, there's no point, is there? You've got target lock. I'm just going to rotate to there. I'm not actually going to use that ability. And then we're just going to pound him for 2 damage and pray we get the damage. He's got 1 health, I think, hasn't he? 1 health left. So this will be pretty unlucky if I don't get it. And there's the death. I did shuffle this, you saw me shuffle, and there's the miss. So, because I'm advantaged, I get to choose the card. I choose the extra damage. That destroys this Ronin ship. We have met our objective, and that is mission complete. So I'm going to go back over to the scenario book to read the narrative on the success and what's going to happen. Okay, success. It takes a few seconds to sink in that the last Ronin ship is gone. Such is the adrenaline coursing through you. Your anxiety swings to jubilation. As a result, you don't immediately recognise the call over the radio. Cadets, to the Sparrow, post haste. We have a problem, cadets. Acknowledge. So we receive the reward below, it says. 1 tech ability, a shield charge, radar jam, cloak, target iron, target lock, and beam repair. And you also got to check on your ship in terms of, is it like a heavy, is it support, which techs you're actually legally allowed to upgrade. If you ended all of your turns within 3 spaces of the Sparrow, which I did, 1 pilot duty point and 1 repair modifier card. Okay, so I'm going to show you those in a bit once I've gone through the conclusion. If I didn't end all my turns within 3 spaces of the Sparrow, so if I strayed away from the Sparrow and went against what Captain Soma asked me to do, then I would get 1 pilot rogue point and 1 slow modifier. So you can already see straight after this first scenario, how you played that scenario will affect what happens to you in terms of your upgrading. This is obviously, this pilot stuff is all upgraded on a sheet, like a pilot upgrade sheet. And you can get it down different upgrade routes and everything else. Okay, conclusion. Your ships turn back to join the Sparrow, and in the far distance, flashes of light catch your eye near Medalia. One after another, an armada of huge Rathan capital ships warp into orbit off the planet. Then, more distant flashes, weapons fire. You try to convince yourself that's not what you're seeing, but you know better. The comms from the Sparrow is alive with people talking over one another on every single channel you try. What are we going to do? I can't. Must have taken another satellite in the network. Many out there. There's too many of them. Regroup at the following coordinate. Finally, you find the comm channel carrying your docking beacon. Cadets, get back here now. Medalia is under attack and it's not going well. We're leading the retreat. But surely there's time to fight back. So now another part of this game which they're trying to showcase and they're trying to show is choices. So it says here, we can follow Captain Soma's orders and we go to scenario 2, or we ignore Captain Soma's orders and help defend Medalia, our planet. And then we go to scenario 3. So this is actually changing the scenario we're going to choose. Now, with how I played the first scenario, I want to impress Soma and I want to kind of follow orders in a way because I think that they have the knowledge and they have the intel that they should know what they're talking about. And I don't want to jeopardize that. So I'm going to follow the Captain Soma's orders and proceed to scenario 2, which is to the Sparrow. So that's going to be the next video. Scenario 2 for me. That means that scenario 3 I will not play in this particular playthrough. So I'll leave that up for you guys to maybe try yourselves.